Hi. So I have to do this monologue thing for school tomorrow. So I'm just gonna do one on here. I'm gonna do a little practice run. Okay. Tell me guys what you think. Okay. Let's do this. Okay. Scene. Last year, on the first day of school, Mandy and I walked together. I miss Mandy a lot. It might not be so bad if I could write letters to her and get letters back, but to have her just get up and leave like she did and not know where she went, oh, that part's hard. At the beginning of last year, I had no clue what was going on with Mandy. I just thought she liked to wear long sleeves. I didn't know that she wanted to cover up the bruises. One day, Mandy came to school with her hand bandaged. She said that she burnt it baking cookies. Later on, our teacher, Miss Swenson, asked me if I could stay after school. When me and Miss Swenson were alone, Miss Swenson asked if I thought if Mandy had really burned her hand baking cookies. I said, Mandy wouldn't pretend to be burned if she wasn't. She told me that she was convinced that the burn was real, but she wasn't convinced it was accidental. I had no clue what she meant. Later on that week, Mandy was supposed to come over to my house so we could do our homework together. When she didn't come on by, I went over there to go get her. When I got there, I could hear her crying. What's worse, I could hear why she was crying. I could hear her dad beating something fierce on her. I just stood there in the dark on her porch, shaking. Finally, I had mustered up enough courage to knock on the door. I pounded as hard as I could. And suddenly, the door flew on open, and her daddy was standing there, looking down on me. Little drops of sweat sticking up on his upper lip. He told me, "Go home, Mandy's sick." Scared? I did. Even after I put the covers over my head and put the pillow over my head, I was still shaking. The next day, I didn't go to school. I told Mom I was sick, and that was the truth. Mama asked why, but I couldn't tell her. I wonder what would have happened if I had. When I got back to school the next day, Mandy was there. Neither of us said a word about what had happened that night. But for some reason, there was this look between us. Later that year, Mandy came to school with her arm in a cast. She said that she had fallen down her basement stairs, but she had this weird, faraway look in her eyes when she told me. Soon enough, I told Miss Hudson about that night at Mandy's house. I told her about how her dad beats on her. She just nodded and agreed, like she wasn't surprised at all. She told me that I had done right to tell her. But I wasn't so sure. 'Cause the next day, a police car came by Mandy's house. No one was home. So they came on by the next day, and not only was no one home, but everything was gone. Mandy and her daddy must have moved out in the night because no one saw them leave, and no one knows where they went. I don't have Miss Swenson for a teacher anymore, and this year, I walked to school alone. But I hope that wherever Mandy is, she has a friend to talk with, and that she's wearing short sleeves. See. Was that good? Comment down below about what you thought.